Hi there. Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's interesting. Do this. Okay. So I talked to Scott at Senator Pacheco's office. He should be fine, but it's a little more confusing getting on with this today. Don't know why. Maybe because I wasn't trying to get on through Facebook or something. Okay. Okay.
For anybody that's watching us right now, we are signed for Divesting Massachusetts, and we are waiting for our guest speaker, Senator Pacheco. He is going to be with us shortly. Thank you so much for waiting. While we're waiting, I might as well talk about this. We're going to be having a contest. So if anybody wants to pitch in, we'd love it. We are having a contest for anyone to submit a video that explains their take on divesting. And whoever wins, we will plant 20 trees in your honor. We want to hear everyone's story on divesting, how you divested in your life, or what you think about divesting. And we are going to take these videos and we're going to put them on social media, and we can't wait to see you. So please sign up. You can email your video to admin at Sign for Divesting Massachusetts, or MA. So that's Sign for Divesting Massachusetts, that's just MA at the end, .org. And we would love to hear from you. One very interesting fact about Senator Pacheco that many may not know is he is the author of the bill S722. And this bill would explicitly authorize local Massachusetts retirement boards to divest from the fossil fuel to divest from fossil fuel companies that are currently undermining our efforts to prevent the worst effects of the global climate emergency. You should all remember that Massachusetts is a coastal state, and rising water levels are already happening. So these things are very, very, very important to us right here, locally. Okay, we're going to be starting in about a minute. Thank you for those that have joined us. So I'm just going to start, and I'm going to introduce our fearless leader, just talk a little bit about our guest speaker. It's 12 o'clock on the nose. Senator Pacheco is going to join us today. Just want to welcome everyone to the Sign for Divesting Massachusetts Fireside Chat, where we're discussing our efforts to get a question placed on the 2022 midterm ballot here in Massachusetts. We are attempting to make it required that all state pension funds and higher learning endowments to divest from the fossil fuel industry and to help save our planet from climate change. And with this, we will be attempting to get 200 signatures from every 160 districts in Massachusetts to sign our petition starting April 26th. This petition will be either mailed out and or available for download on our website at www.signfordivestingmassachusetts.org. Once you sign it, then you'll be mailing it back to us, or you can get if you can't download it, we will mail it directly to you and you will send it back to us. And then we're going to take it to your district town clerk and then the attorney general for certification. That's the path we're on. Okay, Jim, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can introduce our guest speaker. He should be with us shortly. Senator Pacheco. Okay.
Sure. I just texted him, first time coming on the chat, so they might be having some technical things or something like that, but I'm sure he'll be on shortly. Somebody is trying to get on. A couple.
This is Harold, and then there's Scott. Scott has joined us.
Okay, great. So as more people come on, and when the senator comes on, I'll do a quick introduction of the senator. We've known each other a long time, longer than I'm sure either one of us is willing to admit live. So we'll see how that plays itself out. But we've worked together on a lot of different projects together across the state, and he's a great guy to work with, and really understands what we're trying to accomplish here. So that's the when he gets on. But in the meantime, I do want to just talk about a sense of urgency with what we're doing. We're trying to place this question on the ballot in a way that hasn't happened before. And I'm just getting a text. Haven't heard otherwise. Okay, well, he's got the link. He's scheduled, so he should be on. So I am backstage. Senator Pacheco was backstage. I'll let you. I'll let you.
Okay, so would you like to formally introduce him, because I'm going to let him in? Okay.
Well, let him in as I formally introduce him. So,
okay.
Senator Pacheco has been a leader on the environment in Massachusetts through the state senate for an incredible length of time. And you can get into more details, but again, we've known each other for a long time, and he's tireless worker on the things that he's passionate about. And this particular issue, divestment and the environment, he's been passionate about for some time now. And it's going to be great to hear what he's working on in the Senate, because what a public policy question does is it advises our state senators and state rep and the governor in the end to pass a law to do what we're asking them to do. And in this particular case, divest the colleges and universities in Massachusetts and the state pension funds, local and statewide, from the fossil fuel industry. So he's already put a bill forward partly in this, and he'll discuss this in more detail. And he is working towards that. What we're trying to do is help augment that, along with people in the House and others in the Senate that are trying to move divestment forward. So if we have him on, love to hear from Senator Pacheco. Is he on?
Here he is.
All right.
Welcome, Senator Pacheco. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Well,
I'm going to turn it over to Jim. What's that?
I said it's my honor to be here.
Thank you so much. And thank you for all you're doing to help stop climate change. Thank you. Okay, Jim, it's all yours.
Okay. Well, I already did the introduction, but I did want to just start this off of Senator. You do have a bill, in the Senate, and I think there's corresponding similar bills, at least in the House. And we'd love to hear more about what those bills do, how they became part of the Lexus of what we're all working on, and where do you think it's going from here, and how we can help.
Well, thank you very much. And first of all, Jim, let me thank you for your leadership on this and so many other public policy issues over the years. I always call what you and so many others do the external environment of our legislature. That if there are not those pushing us in certain directions to do, in my opinion, the right thing, a lot of times it doesn't happen because we have to get the light shined on the issue. And with the divestment issue, it's been one of those issues that have been around. It's been around for a while, but it always gets tripped up in every legislative session, unfortunately. And it's about time that we actually, got this done. It was exciting to see what has happened, simply because of activism all across the Commonwealth and throughout the country, with different initiatives that have been done. And hopefully this initiative that you're working on will have the same type of outcome, putting focus on this issue in a way that will hopefully get the legislature to act. We need to have the political will to get this done. So I want to thank you for your leadership and everyone on the call today for being involved, because it is critical that your legislators hear you, that your voice is heard, and that you demand the change that you deserve. And so that's what Senate 722 is really all about. Senate 722 is a bill I filed, which would explicitly provide local retirement boards the authority to divest from fossil fuel investments. It's local option. It's a local option divestment bill. It was reported favorably from the Joint Committee on Public Service earlier this session. So it now sits in the Committee on Senate Ways and Means in the Senate, and we have had a vote taken. There's been some positive action on it, and it sits in Senate Ways and Means Committee. And so it's about lobbying the Senate Ways and Means Committee and the Senate Chair of Ways and Means and the leadership in the Senate to release that bill to the floor of the Senate so we can have a vote on the issue. Divestment has been a tool used to promote social change, for so many years now. Yeah, you can think back in the 70s when anti-apartheid activists used and urged institutions to move their investment dollars away from companies that did business in South Africa. I saw and actually participated in some of the work that took place with divestment and boycotts at the time with the Indonesian government when we had the whole human rights issue around East Timor, which is now an independent nation, but at the time was not. According to Fossil Free, a project of Climate Action Group 350.org, more than 1,000 institutions have already committed to removing 8.55 trillion from investments in the fossil fuel sector. That's huge. And that starts to make a big difference in terms of what one would consider, a good investment. There are significant stranded costs when we look at investments in the fossil fuel industry, when you look at investments in things like pipelines and all kinds of things, that their costs will be significantly higher when compared to what we see happening with wind and solar and geothermal, just good old-fashioned energy efficiency that provides a better outcome. So the Public Employee Retirement Administration Commission, PERAC, the regulatory body that oversees public pensions, rejected the move of Somerville's local governing board that agreed to move $9.2 million or 4.5% of their total investment funds back in 2017. And they actually won that objection. And that's one of the reasons why Somerville then filed a home rule petition to allow for divestment, which was tabled. So we took a look at that and said, this just can't be tolerated when a local governing board of pension funds, when they want to make a decision that they believe is in the best interest of the fund and for the people, they should be able to do it by local option. And so that's why we filed the bill the way I have filed it. Personally, I would like to just have a divestment bill that simply mandates divestment. But it's been very difficult to get that type of support within the legislature to do that. Although I must say, compared to where we were in the early 90s and where we are today, it's significantly different in terms of the number of bills that were filed, even on climate. There were maybe a handful filed back in the late 80s, early 90s. And now there are hundreds of bills that are filed. So the legislature has become much more aggressive relative to climate. We are a leading state, but as has been said many times before, it's easy to be a leader when the overwhelming majority of states are not doing anything close to what we're doing. And we need to be doing so much more than what we're doing. And divestment is a big piece of what we need to be doing.
Yeah.
So I'll stop there and just say that, the Senate bill is in Senate Ways and Means. We need to get the external environment. That's all of you guys and everybody outside the legislature to call into the legislature and demand that bill have a vote on the floor of the Massachusetts Senate so we can get that passed and move forward. It was left out of the big roadmap bill that we did back in 2021. And it's unfortunate that it could have been included as an option for cities and towns to divest. And that would have put more pressure on the fossil fuel industry to do what, for example, Shell Technologies is doing. And they're divesting within their own company and investing in the clean energy economy, going forward. So we need to see some of these energy companies that have the resources and are primarily doing work in the fossil fuel sector to significantly diversify and move over to where the future is in wind and solar and geothermal, energy efficiency, new technologies, upgrading grid technology, transmission technology. All of that is the way of the future. It's we are so close right now. We're on the cusp of a sustainability revolution, and the work that you're doing here will help us get to that next place that we need to be with this movement. And so I again just want to say thank you for all of you that have been involved in this movement for a while. And I know from personal experience how frustrating it can be. We work very hard trying to get something. It's like trying to push a boulder uphill, and you get a little tired at some point in time. But then if you let go, all the work that you've done, just will not get you where we should be. And there's so much in the balance here for future generations, for our economy, for our public health, and for our national security. Right now, the backdrop of this whole issue with fossil fuels, all you have to do is look to Russia, look to what's taking place in Ukraine, look at what a lot of that is really all about oil and gas and the fossil fuel industry. We can do a lot to protect ourselves and our future from a national security perspective by doing the right thing on climate. And
Yes.
and that's what this is really all about. So thank you very much, and I'd be glad to answer questions for as long as you want me today.
Sure. Well, I had something I wanted to ask you too, just from a technical standpoint. I know the Senate bill is working through, and I believe there's something in the House that's working its way through too. But my question is, we start collecting signatures, actual signatures in April. Right now, we're getting people online telling us they're willing to sign the petition. But in April, we'll start collecting them. They'll need to be collected through May and June. And how does us collecting the signatures, finally getting on the ballot in a state Senate or a state representative district, and then the third phase of passing it in November this year in a particular senator representative district, how does that affect the bill that you have and other similar ones from moving forward?
Well, a legislator can demonstrate their support for what people are collecting signatures for by voting for the bill, right? By asking for the bill to be taken up so that they can be publicly recorded on that bill.
Okay.
And sometimes that discussion and that dialogue that brings about transparency in the process
Mm-hmm.
and accountability in the process. It's one thing to say that you're for something, and it's another thing to actually vote on it.
Yeah.
So and actually take some action.
Yeah.
And there's so many that have got away with rhetoric for years with limited results. And so we need results.
Yeah, there was a public policy question on the ballot. It's kind of I think 350 put it up there in 2020 on maybe 15, maybe 20 at the most. I think they're state representative districts. Were people aware? Did that actually help getting the law that got passed almost about a year ago by the time the governor signed it? Was that helpful?
Yes, it's very helpful to generate the dialogue, to get the conversation going and having it taken seriously, and to know when you have your name on the ballot and on that same ballot there's going to be a question coming up before the voters, and if the voters vote overwhelmingly for that question, it sort of puts you in a position where you better start delivering on what people are telling you they're for.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can get much more than what the ballot question is all about done before there's even a ballot referendum.
Right.
Because obviously this is a non-binding ballot question, as I understand it, that you're
Correct.
collecting signatures for.
Correct.
So, and quite frankly, I wouldn't have been opposed to you doing a binding ballot question. But it is what it is, but it will still accomplish the same goals of creating that serious dialogue between the citizens and the legislature, and it gives the press the opportunity to start asking the tough questions around this divestment question.
Yeah. Well, if we get it on enough representative and Senate ballots this time, and then the rock doesn't make it all the way up the hill, I guess, to use your analogy, then I think this is something we could come back to with a binding question for 2024. But so we'll see if our action creates action where you actually, have your interest in the Senate and the House. And we'll see, maybe we can have enough influence that they pass it on their own because they do the right thing. But if they don't, then it's in the hands of us, and we'll do a little direct democracy and put it on the ballot, a binding question, which is obviously more difficult and more time consuming. And it's going to be much more than a paragraph, for a public policy question, which is what we're doing now. So it's involved, but it's worth it if the House and the Senate and the governor would need to sign it, obviously, don't want to do the right thing, I guess I'm saying.
Yep.
I just want to say, I love when you said sustainability revolution. I think that I'm going to put that on one of our t-shirts, if you don't mind, because I really, really, really like that. And I think I live on the Cape. I live in Brewster, and the water is rising here. It is. And I think that when we talk about this as a coastal state, really bring it home. This is very much our problem, very much. And I think talking about it from that perspective, really getting people involved one-on-one, locally, having them sign the petition, giving them the power of real democracy. And then also, making it apparent that what is happening in Ukraine and Russia is really, really about this problem. And I love that you said that. That's just, it's very important. It's very important to hear it and to say it out loud. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's very true. Jim knows this, but I've been an Al Gore, follower for so many years, and I got involved with this question way back when Mr. Gore, after not being elected president, started the Climate Reality Project, and I was one of his first 5 classes. I personally sat in a room with scientists and former Vice President Gore going over all of these issues, and I must tell you that was one of the things that he said, many years ago now, that we can create a sustainability revolution.
Yes.
And that's why I say today that we are on the cusp of it right now. I mean, we have offshore wind going up off the coast of Massachusetts. We have solar that's competitive on the market. We have energy efficiency and new housing technologies that are being deployed all across the built environment that is creating jobs, lowering greenhouse gas emissions, and saving people money, at the end of the day.
Man.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. We should be moving forward boldly on this issue in
I
a very rapid way.
Absolutely. I read an article this morning about hot water pumps and how they could really, really make a difference right now in Ukraine because they generate energy. I think that we are ahead of the game, and I can't, as Jim said, the urgency is incredible, and it's very, very pressing, and the more that we talk about it, the better off we are. I actually recently have seen a solar roof installation that was shingles, and I was like, yes, this is fantastic.
Mhm.
But I think if we had Greta Thunberg on here with us, right, what would she say? She would say, no, it has to, and that's where the fire is coming from. The children are speaking for us and to us, and we have to listen to them. And I feel like you are really listening. I mean, I do. And I'm so glad that this bill is underway. And thank you for supporting us.
Thank you. And we need, you all are doing it. And those that are collecting signatures also need to take that step as well, and letting their legislator know that they're collecting these signatures and they mean business, and demanding that vote be taken. Well, why is it that this bill doesn't end up on the floor of the Senate?
Yeah.
Why can't we have a vote on it?
Yeah.
Let the senators vote on where they are on divestment, to give local option approval to local retirement boards to be able to divest.
Yeah.
What's the big deal? We should be able, if we care as much as everybody says they do about this, then this should be done.
Yeah.
Right.
We got Earth Day's coming up in about a month. I'm dumb enough not to know the exact date. It's in April, I believe. But
it's the 22nd this year. It's the 22nd. That's when we're awarding one person 20 planted trees for telling us what their version of divestment is about. So
that's great.
Yes, yes, it's the 22nd.
Okay, we're going to plant the trees on that date, or we're going to decide that date? We should plant.
I think we should tell them in the morning, and then we should plant them. And I'm going to be seeking out a place that needs a little reforestation. So I'm going to be working on that.
Well, that leads me right into everybody needs to step up. We've been doing great with the website, and Eiley has been really helping us with the social media and putting this entire plan together. And the word is getting out there, and we get a lot of traffic on the website, and we're getting a significant number of people signing up to get the petition. So if you're listening now, or if you see this, online later through social media, if you haven't signed up, sign up. Okay, sign for divestingma.org. But if you already have signed up, and a lot of people listening and will listen later to this too, they've already signed up. The trick is to get somebody else to sign up too. Have them part of the team. This is a team of folks that are going to work together on a great, progressive, and environmentally friendly project. And you must know, if you care about this, other people that also care. So get some of the people that also care to sign up. The more people we have sign up before April 26th, the easier it is going to be for us to collect those signatures, and then get you and everybody else to give the petition to a family member in the house before you send it back to us. Send it to friends through social media or on an email. Send them the link to the PDF, or get us the information so we can mail it to them. But right now, the more action we take now, the easier it's going to be when April 26th comes around and we're allowed to put the petition out there for people to actually sign it. We'll get a couple of months to do that, but again, we need to know exactly what districts. 350 Mass is a very, significant organization in the state, and I think they get on the ballot in somewhere around 20. I think it was less than 20 state representative districts. We want to try and outdo that as much as we can. 160 state reps or 40 state senate districts. We'd love to have it all, but that doesn't happen without the people listening now, listening later, and the people on the site getting more people signed up, and then taking that action when April comes around. But there's stuff we can do today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Senator Pacheco. I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for your words. I would hug you, but I can't because we're on whatever Zoom it is, But anyway,
we can do a virtual.
I mean, yeah. I love my home. I love Cape Cod. I love Massachusetts. I want to take care of our coastline, and this has the possibility of really changing things. So thank you for what you do from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, climate change not only has the possibility, it's certainty in terms of what's taking place now. We know the science is in. We know what will take place. If you look at the metropolitan Boston area. I
Mm,
mean,
yeah.
all the coastline
Mm-hmm.
that's there, the impacts that are already starting to happen.
Yes. Now.
Just think of Hurricane Sandy,
Mm-hmm.
200 miles north of where it hit.
Yep.
We would be a mess right now. We'd still
Yes.
be digging out from under it.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's happening down the Cape and even inland, all
Mm-hmm.
across our, Commonwealth, not to mention what's happening just with the air that we breathe, the cancer causing effects
Yeah.
of the worst effects of
Especially in
global
communities of
climate change.
color. Absolutely.
I mean, it's just there's so many things that we need to be working on. And again, and I don't want to go on and on in this, but I
Oh,
want to leave you with this,
yes.
that I have been in rooms in Finland and in Estonia with governmental officials that were concerned with the spigot being shut off because of oil and gas that they need to survive for their people to be able to have an economy at all, in that part of the world. So I would ask everyone that's on to think about that in terms of international terms. Our own Department of Defense has been saying for years that simply because of our own national security, we need to move forward. So to do so much more than what we're doing now, if we want to, save ourselves from a planet that will continue to have more and more national security threats. And if we see what's happening relative to refugees and immigration and all of these things that are taking place now, when you look at the potential 1.4 billion climate refugees that are
Yes.
coming
Yep.
down the road here, all of our economies across the world will be thrown into a mess
Yep.
of a situation. We need to, get this done. Divestment, is one piece of a big puzzle we have to assemble, but it's an extremely important piece. And I can't thank you enough for the work that you're doing. It's not too much to say. It's accurate to say you're helping to save lives by doing this. You're helping to educate citizens and legislators by doing this. You're helping to make a real difference and hopefully helping to pass a statute that will send the message to the fossil fuel industry that they're the ones that need to divest. They're the ones that need to head
Yes.
in a different direction so we can embrace that sustainability revolution. Thank you both very much, Jim.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
Ali, thank you very much for your work on this, and
Thank
for
you.
all of you that are participating. Thank you very much. I tip my hat to you if I had one on. I have one over my shoulder here. It says Vineyard Wind. Sitting right next to a little, windmill.
Yeah, I see it. There's a
Yeah.
windmill back there.
And,
Yes, the power of the sun, the power of the wind. It's
Power
very-
of the sun, the power of the wind, and in this case, the power of the people.
the power
go.
of the people.
Let's
Right
turn that.
on. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This has been awesome. I'm really excited. Thank you so much. Yes, the power of the people.
Thank you.
Have a great Saturday. Let's keep marching forward. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.